The 5D collective comprises 5D mystics, 5D educators, all of those who love to be a lovely human, and so that's scientific methodology, plus esotericism, mysticism, spirituality. So we bring together the human, spiritual, and spirituality elements. For our human elements, we have psychologists, sociologists, anthropologists, neuroscientists. In fact, it's beautiful to know of our lovely neuroscience community and how they are talking about the sphere of consciousness. So 5D Collective uses the words to tap into and support infinite higher human consciousness potential experiences. In fact, the 5D Collective are people who know about integrating their brain, so left mode, right mode, whether through the trauma-informed, somatic-informed, or somatic experiencing informed, or the mix. So we have sometimes Ayurveda with somatic experiencing informed practitioners, or we have I'm a Reiki practitioner, mindfulness, and trauma-informed. There's the group that brings together what is very important to note, since one, left and right mode, very important. So left is our chit-chatter, verbal side of the brain, and the right is our non-verbal, so the sensations, emotions. And right mode is what's online the first year of life. So knowing at least some bit of how our brain works might be helpful. For those who do know it, there you go, you already know it. For those who don't, I know plenty of it. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, Interpersonal Neurobiology, a great course. I'm finishing that one up. And on that note, mindsight. So 5D Collective easily navigates, like with the inner growth mindset, thoughts and emotions, and we mature. So we do not create codependent type relationships. In fact, we don't use our adaptive child emotional responses. We learn how to become functional adults. So 5D Collective dances the tango. They don't do wrestling because the drama is for those who do not understand how to navigate their energy body, which is that nervous system. And that is because, again, mindsight. So mindsight, if you are using it, what it means is you can use your left mode to say, oh, I got sensations, images, thoughts, feelings, and other stuff that comes up, including our lovely astral travel dreams. I love when I have dreams, when I do Akashic record readings, when I get downloads of my own past lives or of collective. So tarot readings too. This sphere of energy is amazing, and the 5D Collective does not in any way, shape, or form talk about karmics, energy vampires, in the sense that we know we're a one big ball of energy. So oneness consciousness is not only energetically present in the emotional plane, but also, again, our nonverbal and our verbal, we work it with each other. And on that note, typically with that corpus callosum, one turns on, one turns off, or something like that. So they don't always communicate together, but the 5D Collective learns either on their own or with good therapy, some, because the therapist is who helps people to put into practice mindfulness, although they might not call it mindfulness, since mindfulness has a background in Buddhism, but we have Buddhist psychologists. So there's that group of people. But in general, mindfulness, as you will find out if somebody explains it to you, allows you to learn how to use that cortex. Because when you're sitting in silence and you're at ease, when we breathe in, our sympathetic activates. When we breathe out, our parasympathetic activates. And when you're rhythmically breathing, you're learning how to regulate in an ease state. And when you're using your brain in silence, there's a minute or so, if you can do this. This all depends if you're able to be in an integrated brain and restorative embodied self, and not everybody is. As I was saying, the survival mode, fight, flight, is what typically the wrestlers are in, because they don't know that they're in that adaptive child mode, since they're not using both sides. What does that mean? It's not that they're offline, because we use both sides of our brains. It's that they're not aware that they can manage those sensations that come up. Those images that come up, they don't say, let me pause a minute before I speak and let me make sure I'm an adult emotionally speaking. No, they don't, in fact, mature the 6 basic emotions. Some people don't actually have a connection with it. And that's where we have a group of people who actually need mindful relationships so that they can get the opportunity to become emotional grown-ups, which requires the lovely Zen masters. Here's my 5D Collective again. So between mystics, educators, and all people who love being human, when we get shame, blame, fault, or revenge, the individuals who wrestle, that means we have people who have unresolved trauma. They have safety responses / trauma responses. Their mechanism is in defense. So they're already skewed Their empathy seat is off. There's a whole way that I share all of this information. So if you feel lost, write me. But I'm trying to describe that the 5D collective knows immediately if you're being nasty to me, you're a person who's upset. Very basic. There is no evil, there's no devil. No, there's you and I as human beings, and then this lovely sphere of consciousness, as I was saying, the neuroscience community. I love them so much because they explain what us channelers, the 5D mystic, that is. Because again, the 4D, they got a whole bandwidth. I've seen some of what they're sharing recently. We'll have fun with that. And all groups are part of the same collective of humans, so don't worry, it's okay. We're not in any type of race. Oh, by the way, here's the 5D collective for you. When we hear some people who read and they are informing the 4D individuals of somebody who's copying them. So I had this reader who was like, there's a person, they're completely empty and void, and they're copying, and they actually think they can do better than you. And even in this like little bit of a spiteful way, as they were describing all of this, I was thinking, wow, that's somebody who doesn't know they have trauma and that they have insecurity. They have low self-esteem. They don't trust in themselves. And I was like, wow, that's really great if somebody's copying somebody who's only the pure Purusha Prakriti, because that means they're going to maybe achieve it. I can't wait to see them succeed. That's a 5D collective, because functional adults, they have what's called differentiated selves, and we're self-empowered, which means you and I can't ever be a copycat of one or the other, because my name's Maria, your name's whatever. And we have different backgrounds, and oh, we're all special. That's the other part. So all of the lovely 8 billion plus growing are special human beings. And in fact, when it comes to the concept of God, the 5D collective, again, is very easygoing about all of it, because we're always not going to know everything. And that's why we're the intelligent ones who wander, thank you, Sadhguru, and not the dead, short idiots who know everything. We have some 4D educators and other types of educators that are in that adaptive child. So they're trying to prove their stuff through what they do, but we need all hands on deck. So one focused mind's very important. Now, the ones who are enamored with themselves, that one's different, but you know, there are people who like culty cults, and then there are people who like traditional cults because they want to follow a leader. The ones who talk about God as wrath, or the universe and source sending you everything, or you know, like the little magic wand of I'm going to get my karma because I did this. So what does a child do with their emotions when they don't know that they're good enough? And this is not to tease anyone. It's to say that when you have true confidence, it's coming from your heart, because you know you're worthy with your flaws and imperfections. Human 101. Integration of the brain is because when those sensations and charge states come up, you're like, you can calm down. You don't need to be competing with your energy with somebody. You're having a conversation. That's how you stay in your ventral vagal, and you down regulate that survival mode, which is getting all pissy. But see, here's the other part. By learning about being a human, which is really awesome, you learn about us all having the 0 to 1 year old attached panicky, the shame submissive 3 to 7, the freeze of all ages, 11, 12 is our flight, and 14, 15, 16 is our fight. These are all of us humans. I know some people think some are aliens. I'm so intrigued by those individuals who don't remember that they're getting stories from books, and that there's, you know, besides your dreams, I've had plenty of astral travel dreams. And, you know, I've noticed that some people don't know how to differentiate what they're seeing because they didn't think that the future would be different than what it is now. So they apparently don't know any physics whatsoever, and how all stars are going to go out and the universe is separating, or maybe, they don't believe the scientific methodology. So they don't believe the physicists and the data. Data can't work. The stories have to be right. Okay, so I'm done teasing, but the 5D collective in this last minute, basically we trust in our species. We know we evolve. We don't need storytelling to understand how it works, to treat each other like a tango dance, lovers dance, and that's what we are. We're all love. In fact, we didn't need to be given the option, if you will, to say, hey, do you want to fear your life or do you want to love your life? No, we want to love because we're alive. So the 5D collective is expanding by the second and the minute, but we're also going to be working with the 4D collective. More to be continued. I'm running out of time. What I just wanted to share in this one is that I welcome my lovely 5D collective. It's about time that we were all here gathering together, and it really makes sense with how we're moving into the future, because, you know, we're reorganizing a lot of things. So we need all hands on deck, and 4D is supporting the ones who have not yet moved into their self-empowerment through self-emotional stuff to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So there's always a reason for everything. 5D collective knows. Tune in for more. And if you're curious or I lost you anywhere, let me know.